Okay, good. That little guy lost his tail feathers fighting with the others.
Oh no.
Well, it's okay. Uh, he's scoping. He's right there.
Yeah, I saw him.
He doesn't get level when he flies because he's got no lift on the end.
Right.
Uh, but he's figured out how to hover, and they'll grow back in like 2 weeks.
Oh.
Yeah.
So I suppose you have them all named.
Actually, no. That just kind of seems arrogant, you know? Although there are a couple. There's a black chin female that I've known for 5 years, and I call her Max after Max Immelmann, the German fighter ace. He invented what's called the Immelmann turn.
Uh-huh.
If somebody's on your tail and you pull up into a loop, and at the top of the loop snap a half roll, you're on top of them going the opposite direction.
Oh my.
But it can centrifuge the blood out of your head and kill you. So it's a maneuver you're only going to do if you're going to die anyway. Hummingbirds do it for fun. Their heartbeats are insanely fast.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Their blood circulates so rapidly internally that it works like a gyroscope. And it's how they stay stable in the air.
So how long have you been doing this?
About 8 years.
Wow.
I got really, really sick right after I moved here, and the treatment was harsh. About all I could do was sit in the shade on my back porch and watch one hummingbird feed it. And I did that. And as I got better, I started putting up more feeders, and they started coming in. It's been like this for the last 4 years, and it's been growing. I just added in 6 feeders out front. I have 2 on my back porch, but there are active nests back there, so I kind of like keep people away from them.
Right.
Not because anybody will hurt the hummingbirds on purpose, but if they stand and stare at the nest, which I understand because it's incredible to see, it points to the predators
Right.
where to hunt later. I had set up like 4 years ago because I had 5 nests back there, and I was going to do like time lapse and over the whole cycle of the egg hatching and then 28 days while they get their feathers. And because I was setting up at the same time every day and pointing and looking at the same place, a roadrunner came and trashed it.
Wow.
Like that. So I know where there are a lot of nests, but I don't seek them out, and I don't peep because
Because the predators are smart.
yeah, and they're all over here right now. We have mockingbirds, we have jays, we have roadrunners, we have the bigger lizards, like the alligator lizards. They'll climb the trees and go for nests.
Oh my goodness.
So do they hear well? Or,
Yes, yes, they
is that
hear.
because of the water then that attracts them to? Or not?
Yes. if you see hummingbirds out in the wild, you can be certain there's safe drinking water nearby.
I imagine you have to do a lot to make sure everything stays really clean because
Yeah. I've got a system though.
I'm sure you do. My name is Jody.
I'm Jack.
I'm Steve.
Steve. So what's your YouTube channel?
Palm Springs Hummingbirds.
Ah, that's pretty simple.
Yeah, well, I figured,
That's smart. People can remember.
I post at dawn and I post at sunset every day. And sometimes when the activity is worth it, I'll make a video of like doing a wash and fill because that attracts a fresh nectar festival.
So how much of this stuff do you have to make every day?
Today I've gone through 2.5 gallons. 6, 8, yeah, 10 quarts. I buy my sugar in 50-pound bags.
I bet you do. Their eggs must be so tiny.
They're about the size of a jelly jelly bean. They're very small. The nests are about the diameter of a 50-cent piece.
Wow.
And they wrap it with spider webs. And as the babies grow, the nest will stretch and expand. When they leave the nest, it snaps back and they can't get back in.
Oh, that's wild.
So how many babies can they have?
Usually 2, sometimes 3.
How often?
It takes about 2 months between clutches. And the costas and the broadtails and the annas have all been mating since October. The black chins wait for that to pass, and they come out more in the summer because they are desert birds.
So they stick around all year.
Yeah. A lot of the costas do too. I have about 60 that stay for the summer.
Yeah, it's just really magical.
So they just hang here and feed all day. Until it's dark.
Yeah.
Good life.
And you never get tired of it.
No, because it's always different. And they are highly individualistic. They do not flock together. They are here at the same time, but they are not here together.
So they're not like family.
No. The most I've ever seen working together is I saw 2 taking turns dive bombing a roadrunner that was moving towards the olive tree. That's kind of hilarious because the roadrunner is not mentally equipped to deal with being attacked. They're like, wait, don't you know the rules? And the hummingbirds go for the eyes.
Oh, smart. So we were just saying today that we haven't seen that. We've been here since the 1st of January. We haven't seen a roadrunner. Are they common or?
Oh yeah, yeah. Especially now, I've seen 2 just today.
Really? Maybe we're just not looking.
Well, you have to know where they're going. The roadrunners eat snakes, small birds, lizards, stuff like that. And so they go where the food is. Right now, all the nests in the bougainvillea across the street are a prime target for roadrunners. Okay, that was Max, the one I was telling you about. So, yeah, the first time I saw her, she was flying from the nest in the olive tree, and she was very young, and her wings gave out, and gravity took over, and she landed right over there by the hedge. And so I picked her up and put her on a feeder, and we've been friends ever since.
One time we were walking at home, and it was a pretty cold morning night, and there was a hummingbird laying on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And so I picked it up in my, I didn't touch it with my hand, because I had a wool glove, and put it in my pocket, and just kind of held it.
Let it warm up.
It warmed up.
And it flew away?
Yeah. It was just amazing.
Yeah. When I find down birds, I bring them inside, but I don't confine them inside. I have a little perch. And I have the high test sugar water that they feed from a pipette. You don't like squirt it into their throat. You get a bubble on the end and let them use their tongues. And then I buy insect mash from PetSmart. But my whole thing is to get them out and flying as quickly as possible,
Right.
with a minimum of interference from them. When I see something that requires more attention than I can give, like they can get a fungus growth in their mouth from eating at dirty feeders. And when I see that, I call the Living Desert Zoo, because they have a hummingbird expert. And they will, when I give them a hummingbird call, it's the amount of time it takes to drive from Palm Desert to here. They roll right away.
You're kidding. Wow. And so you capture that hummingbird if you see the fungus, or they tend to go down?
If they'll let me get close enough, I can pick them up and carry them in. But sometimes they just don't want it. Sometimes I'll try and entice them to a hand feeder and walk in with them.
Okay, little bee, I'll make some honey.
It's just getting enough energy to get back to the hive.
Right.
The hummingbirds and the bees get along. They have a mutually assured destruction thing going on. The bee knows if it stings, it's going to die, and the hummingbird knows if it gets stung, it's going to die.
Wow.
And so they give each other space. Yeah. Yeah. They go about 15 minutes past actual sunset. They wait for the astronomical sunset. And usually towards the end of the evening, it will get very, very crowded, but they also give each other some room. I call it the twilight truce because they just kind of lay aside their grudges and let everybody eat.
Yeah, I'm amazed they get along so well.
This is rare. This took a while to develop.
They figured out that everybody's going to get what they need.
Well, at least here. The other feeders along the way, those are for the ones that have to try and dominate and own a food source. It is a very powerful instinct that you simply cannot fight. The ones on the outskirts are still pretty much the Wild West.
So what do you do if you have to go away, or don't you go away?
I don't go away. I mean, this is Palm Springs. People are always having great ideas of things to go see and do, and I'm like, is it better than this? I do most of my AA meetings on Zoom because I can set up by the hummingbirds.
Nice. Oh, really, this is pretty lovely.
It is. And this is Palm Springs. I've had some celebrities stop by.
Have you?
Yeah.
Cool.
Nancy Sinatra lives like 3 blocks away.
Is that right?
Yeah. She has a beautiful boxer that's named Boots.
Yeah,
When she gets up to leave, she goes, "Are you ready, Boots? Start walking."
Well, I can honestly say I've never visited a place that I've come back to so many times. But where have you been all my life, Palm Springs? It's a great place.
I lived in Vegas and Reno and Tahoe and Hollywood. And when I was a musician, when I retired, I loved the desert, but I didn't find Las Vegas anymore.
No.
And the fires in Hollywood, I got burned out 3 times.
Oh my God.
So there's nothing here gonna burn. The California fan palms that are so iconic here are naturally fire resistant.
Is that right?
Yeah. The Calhea, whose res is just a few miles down the way, their origin story is that they followed hummingbirds to live here.
You know, we went to they have that new museum downtown.
Yeah. Oh,
And we went to that, and I think, I remember that. We didn't do it this trip, but another trip. I remember that.
When I find a dead hummingbird, I call the res, and they send somebody out to collect it.
Really?
They use it in ceremony. I don't know what they do. I figured if they thought it was important I know, they would tell me.
it's different from different angles.
Mm-hmm.
The purple is only shows up at certain.
Yeah, that's the iridescence,
Yeah.
and they know what color they're flashing. Uh, if a Costa male is angry and flashes a bright red face, you know he's angry. They use things like the iridescence as a communication, and also the sounds. They're making a lot of noise when they fly right now because it's telling the girls, "Hey, look at me."
And I've never noticed the little, I don't know what to call them, the little, like little separate wings coming off there.
The darts, yeah,
Darts,
yeah. That's a Costas thing. Uh, when they're doing their mating ritual, the first thing they do is get right in front of the female, hover vertically while wagging their tail back and forth, which is hard enough all by itself, but then they flex the muscles around their face and it looks like they've got a metallic magenta octopus on their face. It's wild. And if that impresses the female enough, they'll go up to about 75, 80 feet and do a power dive right in front of her. And if she likes that, they do ritual combat. Because they're looking for hummingbirds that look good, that can fly good, and can fight. You'll see them getting nose to nose and spiraling up and down nose to nose. Yeah. Sometimes they'll perch on you. Another one of the very few that I've named, I call him Hotspur because every night he likes to perch right on the end of my finger. And I was trying to think of a name that said perch, and I went to Percy, and then I remembered my Shakespeare, Henry V, and Hotspur.